found out about the beatdown last May in the county jail, and I gotta confess, it made me a little bit emotional. It just so happens that my son was tasered 25 times while handcuffed in this county jail. It's a lawsuit I'm sure you folks are well aware of. That's illegal, by the way. It's in common law. It's all across many court decisions. You cannot taser someone in handcuffs. That's why you folks are going to pay off big time. It's a slam dunk. And you know it. I'm sure that Bruce has told you this. But you guys have let the sheriff do this kind of stuff. See? You're culpable. People elected you because they feel that you have put the public interest ahead of your paycheck. But here you sit here, self-satisfied, knowing that the sheriff is a kingpin in this county, knowing that the sheriff never has an opposing candidate, knowing that if the sheriff withdraws his support and tells the other people in the law enforcement Chiefs Association to withdraw support, they'll do it too, and you will not win an election, you will lose your paycheck. You cannot buck the sheriff. Let's just be real about this. Okay? You know that. You know you've got to give him money, but you don't need to give these people money. I could come up here and I could say, fuck you, and you would be angry at me. But there's people here, work for the county, that have teenagers and young kids saying fuck you to them in group homes, different places, all the time. You're culpable with the sheriff. Last night when I heard the news about that beatdown in May, how they terrorized the administration, I thought I'd come out here and just get arrested. I'll cuss you guys out like a fucking saint.
Turn on the mic.
I'll just get you arrested. I'm going to get myself arrested. After all, wouldn't it be nice in the newspaper? Elderly gentleman with man tasered 25 times and handcuffed and lost a lawsuit, beat himself, arrested, freaking out in the court chambers? You ought to calm down a bit, okay? You'll know when I'm going to get arrested off a flash of time in my hand the day I come in to make that speech. It'll happen. It'll have to happen if you people don't do your job. You're elected not to think about your paycheck and not to think about getting reelected. You're elected to come here and defend the public against things like what has been going on here at jail. All we want is to do your job. That's it. Don't put the sheriff ahead of everything else. Just do your fucking job, okay? Thank you.
Thank you.
You might have left your sunglasses up here or somebody did.
We'll probably turn the mic on for you now because you're not a cusser.
Good afternoon, Board of Supervisors. Thanks for the opportunity to speak at public comment. My name is Emily Goodwin. I work for Y Green Energy Fund, which is the word energy spelled backwards. We're a leading PACE finance company operating out of Santa Rosa. We serve all of California as well as Florida and Georgia. So we're the only PACE provider that's out of serves multi-states. I'm here to share a little bit of good news. We've recently launched sort of a new model for PACE deployment in California as of January this year. Since then, we've incorporated 86 new jurisdictions, which is about 11.3 million people. We are definitely making headway in the California market. We provide residential and commercial PACE finance, which is unique to the PACE market here in California. We operate, like I said, statewide, but close to home. We are active in Marin, Napa, Solana counties, and the major cities therein. And we're working with the County of Sonoma, of course, to get active in the Skype marketplace. We're very eager to make headway there. As well, that's an entry point to serving the other large communities. Importantly, the city in which we're headquartered, which is Santa Rosa, the biggest city in Sonoma County. So I'm here to just share some updated statistics with you, let you know we are working very hard with decision makers at the county level to be activated in Sonoma, and we look forward to hopefully serving you this calendar year. I'm going to leave some marketing for you. I'm not going to take your time to explain this stuff. We spend so much time at it. Headquarters so that you can take it away and read it at your leisure. But we are definitely making some great progress in California. We are very eager to share it to Sonoma County constituents, including you all. Thanks for your time.
Thanks, Emily. Amelia Moreno, followed by Dietrich, maybe? Mauricio? Maria.
Good afternoon, all. God bless you. My name is Emilia Moreno. As you probably, some of you guys already recognize me. I was talking the other day. And the thing I want to mention is that I want to be talking any single time I can. I want to be speaking in front of you guys because I want to get your attention. We, as caregivers, we're going to get your attention. We're asking for a $15 raise to help us to get food on our tables and closing our kids. I'm a single mom. I'm raising 2 girls. For whoever, you guys know how much the life is right now. So the economy is up to us to cover us. The money we get is not enough. And we just want a little bit to help us to get our heads under the water. Supervisors, please, and we need this for our families. We need this because I think as human beings, I deserve it. We deserve it. My coworkers deserve it. My kids deserve it. And this has been very hard, and everyone living with this little money. You think you will live with the $1,800 you're getting per month, maybe less? It's really, sometimes it makes me cry. Sometimes it makes me angry because the life we live in. I know some people, a lot of other people, a lot of other caregivers getting help from the same county, right? Workers for the county, I call myself work for the county, maybe not, we make the state, but still, we just asking for a little bit. I'm sorry. We're asking for $15 an hour now, not next year, right now, today. When my girls ask me for food, I cannot tell them, wait for next year. You think that works? Do you? I invite you, some of you guys are trying to live with this little money we do, and see how that works. Just to be in our shoes for one day.
Thank you so much.
You're very welcome.
I can't read the next, beautifully in writing, but I can't read it. Maria Latrick, maybe? You think she left? Bonita, who knows? Followed by Cheryl Williams.
Hi, my name is Bonita Munoz. I'm a home care worker. I've been working for 30 years. Right now we're in bargaining, and we're asking for a living wage. We're not asking for anything more. You know, home care workers, we work very hard. We take care of the most vulnerable people in our county. And we also work a lot of hours for our clients that we do not get paid for. Myself, I do a lot of work for my client that I don't get paid for. I also help out my clients with food. And every week I bring over toilet paper for my client. And home care workers, we deserve to be recognized. Home care work is hard work, and it is a real job, and people think home care workers aren't viable to the county or to helping the clients, but that is not true. And we deserve a living wage so we can survive and feed our own families. And we're asking that any of you Board of Supervisors try to live on $11.65 an hour and try and come and walk a day in my shoes and see what I do for a living. Because I'm the sole provider in my family. I take care of my husband and my son, and I don't get paid to take care of my husband who's disabled. So we are a one income family, 3 people living on one income. So we're asking you to do the right thing for us in bargaining and do not take away our health care. Thank you.
Cheryl Williams, followed by Cactus Speak.
Good afternoon. My name is Cheryl Williams, and I've been working for in-home care for 32 years. And the reason why I've been working so long, because I was forced into this job because I had a disabled son. Therefore, with him going back and forth to the hospital, before we left Children's Hospital, he had had 66 hospitalizations, had been in ICU 4 times with complete exchanges, and I just could not hold down a job. In-home support was the only place where I could go for a few hours here, a few hours there, get to the hospital, get back here, and do that sort of work. I know that we don't work a 9-to-5 job, but it almost feels like it. It can be difficult to have to adjust our lives with these fragile clients. I mean, everywhere from getting cussed out, because you show up, and then I have to use all my skills and ability and my brain and everything to get everything adjusted. And it's a lot of work working for these clients. And also to be real special where we're giving them nurturing touches. I know what it feels like to have a nurturing touch after watching my son for so long. To go in there having a bad day and just to touch them. Maybe stroke their hair or just anything. And it is a lot. And we give these are for the people that have lived most of their lives, and now here we are taking care of them. And like a lot of people have said, at $11.65 an hour, and it just doesn't work. I can say I don't live payday to payday. I live like the month to the month. I mean, seriously, it's like, okay, he's going to get paid now. And it is a struggle. It is a really, really big struggle. And what I would like to ask that on the behalf of over the thousands of workers that are working in-home support, that we get a fair contract of $15 an hour. It's the 20th century, and you just can't work on $11 an hour. Thank you so much for your time.
Peter, followed by Aleje Carls. Carls.
Well, I'll try and spiff things up a little bit here. I know that Susan knew I was coming to this meeting, that's why she wore orange. Because nothing rhymes with orange. But I'll tell you what, I believe her concept with the Sonoma Developmental for the homeless and all that, regarding the opposition will be floored by the power of Gordon. I mean, Susan will be cruising if you people would just wake up and go ahead and shut down the system and stop paying into it, which releases these people to be able to do better work because they're constrained by the same insane system as you are. And I love all these people behind me. I know a lot of them, some of them almost as friends, but the only problem is they're dumber than a box of hammers. And either that or they're completely mind controlled by the 100 patented mind control programs and technologies that have been verifiably out there, which are specifically dedicated to making sure they never do what Gandhi, King, and Chavez did, which is apparently working very well. So, I don't know, the Hispanics are just as goofy as the white people and just as goofy as the black people. They can't seem to comprehend anything. Cesar Chavez says nonviolence is our power. Well, Chavez was a vegan, and so was Dolores Huerta, and the wife and son of Martin Luther King. That's nonviolence. Right now, 14 million animals are being murdered by Mexican workers. So if you want to wonder why you're having problems, there it is. So what do we got? Good news. Oh, anybody interested in looking for changes after we stop paying into the system and keep the money for ourselves at $76.6 billion, we'll shoot straight $2 billion for Susan and the developmental center, so we got a place for the homeless and such. But anybody listening that has a care, Google your noodle to State of Jefferson 2015. Wow. I won't tell you which one of these people up there gave me that information, but it's very interesting. It's worthy of some reading. And more good, interesting news is since law enforcement is tired of politicians, generally speaking, that Sheriff David Clark is being picked up to be a vice president for Dr. Rand Paul. Wow. If you've never seen Sheriff David Clark YouTube, look him up. Same with State of Jefferson and Dr. Rand Paul. That's the only ones the media won't talk about, which is why they're the only threat to the system. So what else do we have? It's a beautiful day. I told them out loud about this beautiful crowd. You can't serve two masters. You're the master who's up here asking the servants to do the right thing. You got to do the right thing first. Get it? Wake up!
Thank you. Thanks, Peter, and I'll take the $1 billion for the developmental center.
$2 billion.
$2 billion. Got it. So, I'm sorry, I can't pronounce your name. Alheli Carles. Alheli. It's a beautiful name. Followed by Amanda Carles.
My name is Alheli Carles. I'm 34 and I have Down syndrome. My mom takes great care of me at home and she helps me with laundry and my meals and shopping for my clothes and cleaning and so much more. She drives all my daughter's appointments and my special classes and activities. She does not make enough money to pay all our bills. We have a hard time. $15 an hour would help us a lot. Please give my mother the money she deserves to live in Sonoma County. Thank you for the right thing, for doing the right thing. Thanks for my mother and me. Thank you.
Yes, I'm Amanda Carles, mother of Alheli. Back in 1964, I graduated from Drake High School, having prepared to go to Davis to be a veterinarian, to study veterinary medicine. And after I went through the whole pre-vet program, they announced to all the women who applied that women weren't allowed in vet school. Mm-hmm. You also weren't allowed in the med school or in the law school that had just opened at Davis. So I had to look for a different career. So I decided to go in the Peace Corps for a couple of years, anywhere they wanted to send me, and they sent me down to the middle of South America to Paraguay. And I found myself in the middle of a pilot program in the middle of the jungle, where people had absolutely no services whatsoever. And so I ended up working with the World Food Program. I ended up being the local veterinarian, taking care of chickens that had been ripped up by dogs or animals from the jungle. And then I ended up, people started bringing their babies and their grandmothers to me. So I ended up being basically the bush doctor down there for a total of 15 years. I didn't want to come back. I loved my life down there, and I married a kind of insane revolutionary who started bringing his revolution home. And I had 4 beautiful children and was very, very happy with my life, except for the fact that my husband was a little bit insane. So what I did in 1982 is I escaped from the country with my 4 children, and I came here. And even though I had a degree in animal physiology from Davis, and could speak English and was an American citizen, and my 4 children were American citizens, I had 4 small children and 1 child with a severe disability. Well, I didn't realize she was going to turn into this absolutely articulate, beautiful person as she is today, to deal with. So basically, I was a refugee and had to go on to social services. I went back to Dominican, got my teaching credential, and because I had the 4 children at home, I could only teach part-time as a substitute, take summer classes. I sang in the band on the weekends, cleaned offices in the middle of the night. did everything I possibly did to survive until I heard about this IHSS program to be able to make a little extra money to be able to take care of my daughter at home. Unfortunately, IHSS doesn't pay into Social Security for parents. So now at 69 years old, I'm really struggling. So I am asking you to help us receive our $15 an hour so that the IHSS workers can be able to survive at home with our children that we take care of and our clients that we take care of. Thank you very much.
Marty Roth, followed by Susan Lamont.
It's a shame that Freitas makes so much and these people make so little. He makes so much to really rip us apart. So it looks like another lawsuit in hand. It's in your hands, right? I know you know about it, against Sheriff Freitas and his department. So how many more people have to be killed and their families bring enormous lawsuits against the sheriff, or inmates beaten in our jails and bring lawsuits, or other acts of deputy misconduct which bring lawsuits before you actually do something about this rogue sheriff we have? How many hits are you willing to take? I mean, you must be pissed off. I mean, I don't know, I can't tell, right? You get pissed off at us. You turn off our mics and things like that because we cuss. But you're not pissed off at this sheriff, this crazy man. Keep in mind that in Santa Clara County is dealing with this too, and the FBI will be coming in to thoroughly investigate the systemic problems of the sheriff department there. We've needed them here for a long time. Andy Lopez debacle was a time to start asking them to come here. Nevertheless, the board decided not to ask the DOJ to come, okay? The difference between Santa Clara and here is that the Santa Clara sheriff came out and publicly decried the acts of officers, the correctional officers in her department.
What? I'm saying I agree, and I think if anyone else agrees,
Okay.
they need to know.
But not here. Rogue Sheriff Freitas, his mentality, that he doubles down on the behavior of his deputies because he sets the tone for this misconduct. He's a thug. He's out of control, and the system here stinks. The egomaniacs of this system, okay, whether it's the board, it's the sheriff, the DA, the court system, you're just all kind of a little bit crazy, and we demand that the FBI come here. And what are you afraid of? Are you afraid of a report card? Is that it? You all must have to sit in closed chambers month after month and deal with these victims and their families as a result of deputy misconduct. Yet over the past decade, you've paid out $10 million in the past decade, and you will continue to pay dearly over this stuff. The last couple of years, we'll see record-breaking lawsuits. It's like global warming of misconduct. What is astounding to me is that the sheriff and his spokespeople, they came out and they said, right away, there's no misconduct here. I mean, right away. They didn't even say, we'll investigate, or this makes me sick, or I'm disturbed, or I'll check into it, nothing like that. And I know that, he thinks the public is stupid, okay? And he thinks, of course, you all have his back, and you have. And so I come here again, I'm always asking, please do the right thing. Our mantra is going to be, I feel like I'm talking to addicts. I feel like I'm talking to addicts. That's what I'm talking to, right? I'm asking you to stop and to do something about our sheriff, and the mantra is going to be recall, recall, recall.
Followed by Michael Kilburn.
So we've got the most vulnerable in this county, the people who take care of the vulnerable and our prisoners, and we just treat them like garbage, and it's just standard behavior here in this county. You were not at the press conference today. I was there. Let me tell you a little bit about it. A man was being beaten in a cell. There were other inmates in cells, single cells. They heard him screaming. They started yelling, stop it, stop it, stop it. That is what Freitas is defining as a riot. 4 deputies, including a supervisor, come in dressed in black body armor, ski masks, black, no identifying labels, go from cell to cell. They go into a cell, they handcuff the person, and they beat them. Then they go to the next cell, then they go to the next cell, then they go to the next cell. And when they get to the end of the row, they start again, and they come back down. People were beaten 4 times.
What the hell?
One young man shit in his pants in terror. And what did they do with him? They didn't give him anything to clean himself up with. They threw him in a rubber cell, left him there for 2 days in his filthy clothes in a room covered with shit and dried blood. That's what law enforcement is.
What the hell's Mike on? Can't handle it?
Turn it on.
Would you feel better about that?
Can't handle the truth.
So that's what happens in this county. Now, we have had the murder of a child, and we have listened to you bemoan it through one side of your mouth while you sit there and tell the sheriff how wonderful he is. Supervisor Zane's particularly good at this one. Then we have had Efren Carrillo confess to horrible things, and we've watched you say, I don't know how we're going to work with you anymore, and the next day go right back to working with him just fine. The DA hires someone who we find out has written the rules, always exonerates the police, and what happens? Not a comment from you guys. We see the video of Issa Roth. Again, nothing. Getting along to get along only works for you. It does not work for the residents of this county. I happen to be taking a poetry class, and as I was driving over, I'm studying the Inferno. So I thought, oh, this is cool. I'm going to bring this in as a little prop, because there is a circle in hell for what you do. And as Dante walks down the circles of hell, the closer he gets to the worst, the more politicians he encounters.
Thank you, Susan. Michael Gilbert,
Sheriff policy sucks.
So anyway, I'm going to talk about mule raft. Mule raft is a busy fellow working behind the scenes around here. I'm talking about Mule Rath, public affairs, political consultant. He represents the big money interests in this county, and he works on behalf of power brokers and to get things passed and people elected. He's busy now. He's hot off his successful Yes on A campaign, and now it seems he may be considering looking into helping Carrillo get reelected, or at least doing some preliminary polling. And I got a call, as you'd expect, from the pollsters, and the first thing they ask you is, are you a registered voter in Tacoma County? And I said, darn straight, I'm a registered voter in Tacoma County. So they gave me all the questions. Efren Carrillo has been arrested twice on public intoxication and peaking. On a scale of 1 to 5, 5 would be you believe he deserves a second chance, or 1 would be unfit. On a scale of 1 to 5, how would you rate that? And then they threw out some names like head-to-head matchup with Ruth Birch and Efren Carrillo, who would you vote for? And Noreen Evans against Efren Carrillo, who would you pick? And Tommy Tesconi. And supposedly Noreen Evans would be the 800-pound gorilla in this potential matchup here. And then they threw out a whole bunch of names. Noreen Evans, Carrillo, Herman Hernandez, who's a big shot over in community action. That impressed me, so I picked him. And Dennis Rosati and Fertz, they were all in there. So anyway, if he polls well in this, I'm sure he's going to be up for re-election, because the moneyed interests would want that.
But what I'm saying is, you know, I don't like anything that, you know, the way this plays out, you know, the polling and the big money behind it and the campaigning and all that. So I'd like to see somebody who's in the 5th district, you know, that's halfway decent, wake up and get in this and run, someone who would not be suitable for representation by mule rat, because I want somebody else. Thank you.
Thank you. Elaine Holtz, followed by Thomas Bonfigli.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Elaine D. Holtz. I'm a 40-year resident of Sonoma County. I want it noted that my father, Solomon Holtz, was a union man, Mailers Union number 9 in Los Angeles. I want it also noted that I had 3, not 1, not 2, but 3 uncles who served proudly in World War II. One of my uncles who never got over from the experience of having to kill people for the freedom, what he thought was the freedom of America. My dad instilled in me several things. If a man gives you a ride, buy him a cup of coffee. No boss, and I would like to add politicians, will ever give you a raise without a struggle. And that is why the unions is so important. Never cross the picket line. Respect all workers, and above all, never miss paying your union dues. And no matter what, remain a member. You never know what is going to happen. And never, Elaine, never be afraid to speak out for injustice. Today, as I listen and I watch the unions working to gain a decent wage for their workers, I feel in my heart my father's words stronger than I ever have. What is interesting to me is we have trashed our unions across our country, but there are several unions that are alive and thriving. For example, the Prison Guard Union, Sonoma County Law Enforcement Association, to the point that they have been able to negotiate wages well over $100,000 plus mark. And what do those members do? They intimidate, they incarcerate, and they even kill our young children. Can I have everybody's attention, please? I don't mean to bore you. Anyway, the majority incarcerated for non-violent crimes while being treated so violently, my heart aches and my fear escalates as I wonder what is next. And look what's happening with law enforcement. I can't help but remember when Supervisor Gorin was on the city council and she said, we spend millions of dollars for PR to give our county a good reputation. And look what's on the dock now. 20 people have come forward that they were beaten in our jails. 20 people. What does that say about Sonoma County? Would you want to come and visit a county where police are beating people like that? And I look at this gentleman over here. I know he's part of the sheriff's department. I can't see him as someone that beats somebody. But I wonder what he thinks about his colleagues that are doing that. The people, the human beings, we are asking for the caregivers, the people, the members who take care of our family members who are ill, often homebound, mentally challenged, or simply old people who are unable to care for themselves. Sometimes these caregivers are the only human contact that a person has. The only thing that I believe that is stopping this board from providing $15 an hour to these people is an unwillingness to challenge some of the salary being offered to others. And seriously working diligently with the budget to make this possible and create a new level of fairness. Such a sad state of affairs when the people ask for fairness and consideration and they hear no funds available, there's something wrong. It's sad to me, folks. We treat our caregivers as if their jobs are insignificant and they need to shut up and be satisfied with what they're being offered. Do your job. And that job is to make sure that we, the people, are treated fairly.
That's right.
I personally think $15 is not enough, but it's a good start. Hold strong, SEIU. Hold strong. Your time is now. Thank you.
Did you say you were giving Elaine a couple minutes of your time?
No, I was just saying I tried to see.
Go ahead. Michael Gold, and then followed by Michael Goldstein.
Violence, it's in every man's heart. So said that legendary legal and famous criminal defense attorney, Clarence Darrow. And judging by the latest revelations of some of those individuals who have been incarcerated and beaten by some of the Sonoma County jailhouse guards, it's in the hearts, minds, and fists of those who are in charge of the health and well-being of jail inmates as well. I will call these rogue goons out for what they truly are, thugs. Let's review some facts that are not in dispute. At present, there are count them, four active civil rights lawsuits against the Sonoma County Sheriff's Office, Sheriff Freitas, and several of his deputies. Taken in their totality, there is the potential that the resolution of these lawsuits could result in the payout of millions of dollars. I will not bother reciting each of the details, as I'm certain that each of you is by now intimately familiar with the sort of details and hefty legal issues involved in each one of these lawsuits. With the revelations which were made at today's hastily called press conference, it has become abundantly and inescapably clear that you can no longer remain silent nor complacent. While I agree that both parties, as well as the deputies involved in the latest jail brawl, all deserve their day in court, I am compelled to say something bluntly. If even one of the chilling incidents which has been shared with the public is even partially true, you owe it to the taxpayers and voters who put you in those throne-like seats to immerse yourself in the situation by summoning the sheriff to appear before you so that you may share your concerns about his poor job performance with him and demand, yes, demand, that he undertake necessary changes to make our jail conditions safer for inmates. 1, demand that he discipline any of the deputies who were involved in any of the incidents of misconduct or death which have thus far come to light. 2, demand that he institute jail reforms immediately to prevent similar incidents from occurring in the future. 3, demand that he make himself available to the public, yes, the public, to address and answer their questions and address their concerns, which he has to date failed to do. 4, demand that he fire Eric Gelhaus at once for killing Andrew Lopez. Unless and until you make the awesome, difficult decision to confront what can only be accurately characterized as a crisis in the making, I predict that the list of 4 lawsuits which I cited earlier, with which you are presently confronted, will continue to grow exponentially at the expense of the taxpayers and with the possible end result of even more lives being lost or destroyed.
Thank you, Tom. Michael Goldstein, are you here? There you are, Michael. Followed by the last card I have is from Colleen Fernald.
Thank you for this opportunity to speak with you. This is a lot of emotion in this room. But I'd like to talk to you about a subject that I think is very important for the board to consider. And that's that we have an aging population, and there's going to be a lot of need for workers to care for these people. Now, there is a program in place, and it's been around for a while, and I think that it would be a good idea for the board to consider how they can go about creating the income they need to be able to pay home care workers a decent living wage. Right now, there's a crisis in our country where we have working poor. People haven't been able to make enough money to not be on welfare, not take food stamps, to be able to put aside some money so that they can think about having a retirement. And I think it probably starts here with the local board of supervisors to make accommodation, because as the future unfolds, if we don't have a really well paid team of people who can care for the sick and the disabled, there's going to be a crisis, because people that cannot take care of themselves, if there's no one to take care of them, they're going to have to put them in a skilled nursing home, which is very expensive. So I think it makes sense to consider how you can manipulate the budget or raise taxes or do something to be able to create a situation where home care workers can get a living wage. Thank you.
If you agree with anything I say, please demonstrate it to them. unfortunately, you're arbitrary with the rules. You have done nothing to make this county, Mrs. Gorman, I'm speaking to you. I want your attention, your eye contact. I want you to know you're hearing me because you're culpable. You were a witness when you were on the City of Santa Rosa's council to the misconduct of the police department and many other people within the administration, including the city manager at the time who pulled the plug on my freedom of speech that was broadcast. You've done nothing to make this freedom of speech broadcast. For what reason, I want to know. So let's start with something that I was handed today here about disaster distress helpline. And what's transpired since I last told you I'm a walking ghost. The county's version of help of wasting money and time when there's a roadmap to assist me cannot be found in a pill or a counseling session. It's when he's going to stand up and honor his oath of office to the Constitution like he means it. Like that document means something when it comes to use of force. Whether it's your sheriff, them, allowing unconstitutional war crimes to continue. The United Nations is meeting right now, and I am not working wounded. I lost my job, my income, and because I was working to save the world and not me, I didn't pay into the system. There's no disability from me. And my doctor declared me disabled. I tried to get a job, they didn't see the trauma. The trauma is because I'm the truth whisperer, but not always quiet about it. I see the truth so clearly for all these years, and I announce it to everyone, including the organized criminals who allowed the death of my daughter. So I tried to work, going to Sonoma Mountain Village doing security, and I looked up. I wasn't prepared. After all this trauma, not being helped even after the gunshot, and still not even victims' assistance and getting moved out of the country, this community where the corrupt district attorney cannot be my advocate, even though she wrote me a letter recognizing me as the victim. I need your help. I asked you for a meeting. You promised me with getting the state attorney general to give me the proper victims assistance I need so I can do the work. The work is, what is our nation delivering at the United Nations in terms